Kurt Warner said this on Monday, and I want to, after football games, and this is the part that I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about documentaries, too, as I see that Oprah and Apple are fighting, and she just bought back. She didn't like the documentary that Apple was doing, so she just bought it back from Apple. And
must be nice.
Yeah. Kurt Warner says on Monday, I've been grinding tape since 8 p.m. last night, and I have gotten through 10 games. How do all of these people talk about these players and teams on a Monday as if they've watched the games and really can evaluate them? Can you guys share your routine so I can see if it's more efficient? And then Ryan Fitzpatrick gets in with, I would recommend a healthy dose of Red Zone and Stephen A. Anything more than this, and you're wasting your time, Kurt.
It's a great tweet.
I mean, this part is interesting to me because Kurt Warner is unbelievably meticulous about what his analysis is going to be, and he's going to be careful about criticizing people because he lived it, and he wants people, if they're going to criticize, to be informed and not be flippant. But the grand majority of most football coverage on television on Mondays is less informed and prepared than Kurt Warner's, but we got to go to market. And so not everyone's breaking down game tape. And what do you do with what it is that Kurt Warner is saying there? Because he's trying to play the game fair, but that's not what's going to get rewarded. It's not going to. ESPN has Orlovsky. They have NFL Live. They have Ryan Clark doing some film breakdown. McAfee does a ton of it because people do like film breakdown. But he's not wrong when he says this is a super complicated sport. And in order to analyze it correctly, you got to be thorough, and you can't do it on all of the games on Monday morning.
So Dan, let me tell you. So first and foremost, it always blows my mind. Whatever your sport is, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, whether it's baseball, or whether you are a generalist, a sports generalist, right? The people who said, I had Bucks Raiders on that screen, and you're full of. There's no way you can watch multiple games at the same time and be detailed and nuanced.
Correctly.
You can watch it, popcorn and beer, sure. Wings and beer. Oh my God, he just had it. You can do that. You cannot watch and retain information and nuanced information to do the job.
But you're talking about this the way that you watch basketball. You and I watch basketball differently. You're sitting there watching every possession, and you're doing analysis on adjustments that I'm not doing. I am doing popcorn and a drink. I'm not analyzing what has Spoelstra done in this timeout while I'm watching 4 other basketball games.
So when you put that in that perspective, Dan, if you are watching, and this is why it always tickles me when people watch general sports shows. What Kurt Warner's talking about, he's talking about NFL specific, and we'll get to that in a second. But people who watch First Take, Undisputed, those kind of shows, and then yell and argue about what Stephen A. or Skip or Shannon says, do you think these people watched every single sporting event with a keen eye and and nuance and with the DVR pausing?
Well, I do wonder, though. I wonder what the audience, given the power.
There's a difference. That's what I'm building to is there's a difference between a general sports analyst and a sports-specific analyst.
There's a difference that you're making that I don't think the audience is making. I believe the power of television is such that if there's expertise being blown in my face on television, that especially if it's morning television, especially if it's the audience that has historically been around morning television, which back before the pandemic wasn't working. During the day, was at home instead of being somewhere that they had to be working. Those people were watching sports, and I don't believe they're making a distinction, the distinction that you're making between Stephen A. says this and Kurt Warner says that. They might say Kurt Warner knows more because he's a quarterback, but they're not going to say Kurt Warner's analyzing that game because he's breaking down tape in a way that Stephen A. Smith isn't. I don't believe those are distinctions being made by an audience.
I think the other thing, too, is when you look at those morning day television parts where people don't want to hear a Cover 2 shell breakdown, right? Like, you want to hear the headlines of the day. You're tuning in to hear, oh, the Cowboys lost 45-19. What's happening with Dak? Did he deserve the money that they gave him at the beginning of the season? It's hard to break down nuance, like, oh, the corner was shading to the inside here. That's why he was able to beat the man on the, like, those kind of things are tough to digest early in the morning, if at all.
No, absolutely. Like, that's a morning show. No one's coming for hard analysis. They're coming for just get me caught up on everything that happened last night because I went to bed early, right?
Is Kurt Warner attacking like Stephen A here, or is he attacking fans?
He's not attacking. He's asking. He's almost not like, bless his heart. He's like, how's everyone else doing this? Am I doing this wrong?
Well, I think he's being sarcastic.
Well,
I think he's seeing a lot of bloviating on television and saying these people are giving very strong opinions without being as informed as I am about the opinions that they're giving.
It's an obnoxious tweet
No,
from Kurt Warner.
No, guys. You got this all wrong. Kurt Warner's a nice guy, man.
I know he's a nice guy, but he's being like, it's kind of like we did a thing here when we went out to Dolphins training camp a few years ago. For the next 3 weeks, we were all just like, I was out at camp, and whatever I say after that, that's what he's doing here. Like, all right, I just want everyone to know I'm watching all these games. Like, we get Dan Orlovsky does this stuff too, where he posts a video. He's just like, just so you know, I've been diving into the tape here. It's like, you're watching a little tape, okay? You don't need to overstate it. They're just shoving in our face. We get it. You're smarter than us, Kurt Warner. We get it. You know football. Like that. That's really what he's doing there. He's like, I know. I don't know what everyone else is doing, but I'm watching every game, every play, and it's like, we get you.
I don't know why you guys are getting a Kurt Warner here, man. He's a nice guy. They made a movie about him.
I like Kurt Warner. I'm just saying. This is a look at me Louis tweet.
I don't know if you do.
This is a look at me Louis tweet. This is him saying, I watch tape and the film better than everybody else, as you should. Look at me Louis. It's like, yeah.
You co-signing this nonsense?
Well, you keep coming back with Kurt Warner's a nice guy, which no one disputes.
Too sweet to be sarcastic.
Too sweet to be sarcastic.
I don't believe that was a genuine question that he was throwing at the internet. Please, internet, help me be more efficient at how I study football. Please teach me, Juan Lemonface 46534. Are you breaking down more film than I am?
And Ryan Fitzpatrick in that tweet, like, he senses what I got. So he's like, let me give him a little something here. Like, oh, you're going to be, like, we get you, Kurt. You're watching all the film.